Hello, beautifuls. If no one has told you today, I love you. This channeled message is going to be for a collective of people who are, maybe you're doing some research on your past lives. Confirmation, right? You could be trying to figure, who am I? Right? And I know at the beginning of my journey, so I was like, well, who am I? That's one of the things at the beginning of my spiritual awakening, right? I had written a whole poem down about it, right? Who am I? And this is going to be for that collective of people. You're just trying to figure out who you are. What's your purpose? Who you are, who you've been to bring you all into this space, right? What built you? What made you? Where did I come from? Right? Besides your mother's womb, right? And you've just been asking, right? You're feeling very cosmically driven. You're going through an awakening and you're like, who am I? So this is going to be for you or maybe someone you know who is going through this. Okay. And they start with, have you researched your birth name that you were given here in this lifetime? Do you know what your birth name means? What does it mean? Right? Who are you? So this is like resting, okay? Resting, maybe you're having dreams. Something could be coming to you in your dreams, right? And this the Page of Cups, like youthfulness, youth, right? Playfulness. Who are you? Right? So ask yourself, and I'm going to tell you when you ask the universe or when you ask God, who am I or who have I been? You will be shown. You will be shown. So start with researching what's your birth name here on this planet is. What is it? What does it mean? Right? Because that's a big, right? We don't receive our name by accident, right? That is not it. You've been thinking about this. You've been thinking about who am I? Okay. And I'm going to tell you, I started doing that. Right. At the beginning of my spiritual awakening, I was asking who I am. And I was open to receive. Like I learned that my name means honey. Okay. And then I would go places. So pay attention for people calling you a name that's not your name. Okay. Have you noticed that already? People often slip of a tongue or call you a name that's not your name because that was probably a name in one of your other lives. All right. And if they haven't yet, once you start asking this question, they will start showing you. I started asking this question, like, who am I? So I researched my name. It means honey. My name means honey and liquid sunshine. And so I went to the bank and they have my driver's license. They're looking up my account. They give me my money. They give me my driver's license back. And then they called me a totally different name with looking at my name. And did not sound like my name at all. Okay. So within the next couple of days, I just took note of that. Oh, that's weird. That's different. So I go to the bank or I go to the pharmacy. I pick up a prescription. A couple days later, they have my license. They're looking at my name. They take my name, right? And then they say to me, called me the same name that was not my name. I'm like, oh, let me do some research on this because clearly this is who I was in one of my past lives. Okay, so one of the meanings of the name that they were calling me was in the Bible, biblically, she was a prophet. She was a seer, right? People came to her for advice because she knew the outcomes of things. And then when I looked up under like the goddess of this name, was Queen Bee, the giver of honey. Right? Stick with me here. Okay. And so what I had chose for a profession up until I've gone through my spiritual awakening was I was a funeral director for many years. Okay. Now this goddess that I looked up, who was the queen bee, the giver of honey, also used honey for embalming processes. She was the one who did that. Embalmed bodies with honey. Yeah. And in this life, I became a funeral director. Yeah. So then I know, right? And not only that, I am a prophet, I am a seer, I am all of these things that I have been. And it shows you how you want to know who you are, who you've been. Just ask and you will be shown. right? Who you've been in past lives, okay? And let me see. Yeah. So this is just to show you how that works, right? So if you're asking, who am I? Start with the origin. Start with your name now and what it means. And then ask the universe to show you and pay attention for the information that you are given. So people will outright call you. And the rule of thumb is, if you hear the same message from two different sources that aren't connected to each other, that is a sign, that is a message from God. Okay? And I don't even need to use cards for this, but this is for those of you who want to know who you are, who you've been, what brought you to this point. What is your purpose? Ask and you shall receive. I love you.